look over the sideboard here. Algebra 1, on Wednesdays we were Hank. As soon as we'll be able to, the T is signed. Multiply polynomials, section 6.6.
You said that very weird.
Oh, I know exactly.
Okay, we're almost done with this chapter, aren't we? Okay, we're in section 6.6. Okay, guys, we only have this section and then one more section. Okay, so what's that mean, guys? Everybody's test coming up. Okay, so what next week looks like? We have our last section on Friday, on Fun Talk Friday. Okay, then we do not have school next Monday. We don't have school next Monday. President's Day.
Thank goodness.
Okay, so I don't have to see Dylan. It's gonna be a nice thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I get to come here and sweat in a sweater though, which is nice.
Well, you have to
Yeah, I got meetings some more time. What? Nope. So Tuesday you have a B day, so you're evens. So you'll have me on Wednesday and Fun Talk Friday again next week. Okay. We're looking to review on Wednesday, a test next Fun Talk Friday. They're looking to test a week from Fun Talk Friday. Okay. Why wouldn't you? Because you have me on Friday, and then we don't have school Monday, so the next day is Yep. So next week's a BA. Next week is the sheep week. No, Dr.
You.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I got it. Someone else last time. Yeah.
Chase, what is this?
Multiplication of polynomials.
Wow, that hurts my ears.
RIP headphone users. We're going to use the distributive property. Recall, how do we multiply 2 times the quantity of 3x plus 2?
You take it and you multiply it after you distribute, so blah, 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 blah.
What is 2
It's
times...
Carl.
Hey guys, we need to bring it back down.
Your headphone user.
What is 2 times 3x?
3x is 6x.
What's 2 times 2?
4.
So we end up distributing, right?
6x plus 4 equals that.
There we go, thank you. Okay. So, I want you guys to try simplifying these expressions. Negative 6t times 5t plus 2. Negative 6t times 5t plus 2. We're going to use the distributive property on this. Okay, we're going to use the distributive property on this.
Mr. Cussel, that is a T at So like, hold up. Confusion.
Hold up.
Where did you get it started? I go, Carl, you need stop.
Okay. So what's negative 6t times 5t?
11t.
Negative 30t
Negative 12t.
squared.
Whoa.
What?
Negative 30t squared. Because what's so negative 6 times 5 is negative 30. What's t times t?
T
squared. When you multiply,
Two variables.
when we multiply the variables, we add their exponents. When we multiply the variables, we add the exponents. Okay, so a reminder that goes back to section 1 of this chapter. Okay, when you multiply the variables, we add the exponents. What's negative 6t times 2?
Negative 12t.
Negative 12t.
Just negative 12. No, none of that.
Negative 12t. Negative 30t squared minus 12t. Can we simplify this anymore?
No, sir.
Nope. This is their answer.
Yes, sir.
Come on, Casper. Wait.
What?
Tasty joke.
Did we do anything? Did we actually subtract those? Are they like terms? No. And we are trying to divide. No, because they're not fractions. Okay. So question, I think, question on that? Okay, let's try this next one. Okay, so what are we going to do with this 2x?
You're going to distribute it into the parentheses.
Distribute it in the parentheses. So I distribute it to what things?
You distribute it into the 2y to the second. Oh, I mean, no, but 3x to the second.
Yep.
And then to the 5x and then to the 2.
Yep. Do I distribute the 2x and the 4?
No.
No, why not, Nectaria?
Because they're not the
It's illegal.
Because they're not in
On the
parentheses.
Exactly right. Yeah, it's okay. Okay, 2x is only multiplied to everything inside the parentheses. So, 2x times 3x squared is what, Chase? Very good, 6x to the third. Multiply the coefficients, add the exponents.
Hold up.
Rolling out. Okay, Dylan? Plus 2x times 5x.
And that equals 10x right there, fellas.
10x
Squared.
squared.
And then,
X times x is x squared.
yes, sir, and then, 2x times, 2 is 4.
We get 4x. And then we keep writing it plus 2x plus 4.
Yes, sir.
Now, do we see anything we can still simplify?
Yes, you can.
How can we still simplify?
Say 2x or
Levi?
2.
You can 4x and 2x.
This 4x and 2x, they're like terms. Can we simplify anything else?
No.
Okay, so 6x to the third plus 10x squared plus 6x. Very good. When we add, we don't change the exponents, plus 4.
Why did y'all laugh when I did that?
Funny.
Questions on that? Okay, I want you guys to try number 3. Want you guys to try number 3?
Yes. Whoa.
Oh my gosh, we. I want to.
Take it one step at a time.
Wait a minute, hold up.
What?
I know 6, 8, 5, Jesus.
Don't say that.
I'm sorry, Mr. Crossell. 5, since here, apologies. Oh my goodness. I said goodness. Shut up, Eugene.
Eugene should talk to that.
Eugene's from Britain or they talk.
It's
I
actually
ain't got that
this.
version.
Go.
Hey, no, ma'am.
Teach me.
Wait.
You talk to
Actually,
the
like this.
You would from Alabama.
Okay, whatever. Same difference.
No, Eugene's from Alabama.
I think this is the
It
first line of
will.
the first one.
Well, A, B, 2,
Eugene.
square,
Not 30,000.
6, B, 2,
I
nothing.
think those are both probably not as
Can you talk to your aunt for
30,000% Caucasian.
My name is
Yeah,
Aunt
90%
Frank.
I'm hiding in the
I
attic.
survived. All of us. She did not survive. Did you not read the book?
Yes, she did. She died after the Holocaust, so therefore she survived the Holocaust.
She died
My name is Aunt Frank. And I did not.
Oh, yeah, she did.
Yeah, I had it.
Dad was the one who survived.
You did not read the book. We did the whole book. I was too busy with my hands.
The do-rag.
Why is everyone in our grade wearing do-rags when they're like
I don't get why.
white?
Hey y'all, we're on wear
Oh,
new
no.
raggies and woods
Noah
and all
and
right.
Maddox are both wearing
I
do-rags.
started it.
Maddox, you're not.
Bet you won't wear it to school.
You can't. That's gang affiliation.
Oh.
I think it's a game for
The number just went up. Raise your hand if anyone can help me with the first parenthesis. Okay, Levi's gonna help me with the first parenthesis. Go, Levi.
6b a on third. No, 6b squared.
6b1 a squared.
Let's go 6a squared b. Let's put the a first. Put alpha.
Bro, are you?
So I technically had it right.
You didn't get it right, yeah. We just want the a's first, okay? Go ahead, Levi, keep going.
And then you have 12 a to the second. Not 12a, just 12a, just 12a. B to the second.
Very good.
Spooky, spooky, spooky.
Okay, keep going, buddy.
And then you got 6b.
Just 6b.
Never mind.
Because it's 3b times 2. There's only 1b.
Uh,
So 6a squared b plus 12ab squared plus 6b. Okay, and I said ticky-tacky thing, small little thing, and is one of the a squared before the b here. Is one of those alphabetical. Okay? Can anybody help with the second parenthesis? Maybe feel bold enough they want to try it.
no.
Yes, I would love to.
It's
Hey, Matthew, you want to try it?
a
Maddox.
Matthew's exactly right. Listen up, listen up. Negative 4a squared b minus 2ab squared minus 4a. What can be very helpful here, guys, is with this negative, because Matthew did a really good job making sure he just took this negative to everything inside, but a lot of times we can forget that. What I do is I'm just going to change this. In this case, when we're multiplying, hey, stop. In this case, when we're multiplying something out in the front, Maddox, I got it, I don't need help. Okay? When we're multiplying something in front of it, like a, or any number or variable, we change this to a positive, we can change this to a negative. So then it's like a negative a times 4ab, negative a times 2b squared, and a negative a times 4. That can help us think of that. Okay? The same kind of idea, it's just this way, when there's something multiplying in front of it, you just change that one sign, and then every sign changes for you when you distribute. Okay? So you just change the one sign, and every sign changes for you when you distribute. So you're still changing your sign, but we don't do it twice, we just do it once. We change this one, and then when we distribute, every sign takes care of itself. Now, can we look to combining like terms? Okay? Who can help me out with like some like terms to combine here? Okay? Dalton, thank you for volunteering. What are some like terms we can combine?
The 6a squared b and the negative 4a squared b.
Very good. That would come first. Okay. Then what would be another like term we could combine here, Presley? Yep. And those would come second. Okay. And then what would come third here? What would come third here, Dylan?
That'd be the negative 4.
Very good. And what does that leave coming last here then? 6b. Very good. So let's combine these. So the one underlined 6a squared b minus 4a squared b. That is
2a
2a squared b. What would come next?
The 12ab squared.
Ends up being 10a squared ab squared. What comes third?
Minus 4a.
Minus 4a, followed by what, Victoria?
Plus.
Very good.
Wow, good job.
And that ends up being your answer. Questions on that one at all?
No, sir.
Okay, I want you guys to try number 4. You guys try number 4 then.
I have a question.
This problem.
Wow, well, that's really negative.
Does it matter which like comes first?
For the order, like what we were, yes, that was in the last class. I honestly want it to be descending order, so we want the highest exponent first.
Oh, okay.
Like this would come first, then this. Then. Great question.
Mr.
I
Foster.
want you to watch that video when you get a chance, okay?
Okay.
I got it, boss.
Yes, I'm
Got it,
glad
Carl.
you come.
Your name, and your
What's
boss.
up?
Hey, sir, I mean, Brian.
On the bottom of the table.
You know what that is.
Knock it off right here.
Oh, nah, they're good, they're good. Hey,
What?
It's top secret information.
Hey, Peter. Peter.
Peter, come check.
They gotta say it like this. Hey, Peter. Wait, it's your Peter now.
No, Chase is Jack.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a bad nose.
How is this bad?
Who's?
Or how is this wrong?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man.
Good?
Are you
Like,
sure?
I don't want to die.
I
I gotta
check
cry. Eugene,
Carl, stop it.
Eugene, how close am I?
Maybe yours is wrong.
Really close.
Yeah, yeah.
The second one's not right.
Oh, yeah.
No, the second one's not right.
Oh, I found the answer.
Oh,
No, that's not
She was
right.
right.
yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Okay.
No, don't check him. You can't check him. You do.
I'm playing it.
Hey, did I get the answer? Hey, you game. Hey,
Oh, okay.
hey, Vader.
Stop.
Hey, Vader.
How'd you get that? Hey, Dad.
Hey, Vader. Hey, Vader.
No. No.
Vader, come check it.
No. You did it wrong.
Hey, Vader.
Last one? He's right.
Matthew,
Wrong.
Yeah,
Wrong. You're wrong.
Tell me.
You're four. Did you type that?
Yeah.
How'd you get eight?
4 times 2 is 8.
Oh,
Y equals 2 is 3. Let me see your answer. And then I'll tell you.
how'd you get it? Dude.
N plus. It's negative. So that would be 7.
There's no three there.
And it is. It's he literally just told me.
Does that mean I got it wrong? It's wrong.
That's 3y. So mine's probably right. What's negative y squared is equal to?
Negative y
squared. Negative y to that. I think that's your, what was 2y times 4y squared? Or 4y times 2y squared? So it's y squared times 4y. What's negative y squared times negative 3?
Hey. Hey, you got time.
Hey, Peter. That's still 2y squared. Alright. Hey, Peter.
Peter. It was Levi saying you.
No, Peter.
Were you wrong, Peter?
No, I'm not.
Eugene did Peter tell you. Right, you were actually wrong.
Yes, sir. Taylor, come here.
So we don't
Hey,
change it.
hey,
hey,
Only change it.
hey.
Mark. Hey, Mark.
It's a very
Hey.
confusing
Hey,
Here's going.
Yes, don't.
Is that going right now?
do it either.
hey.
Did you share my phone?
Yeah, let's talk about this one up here, guys.
Yeah.
So we have 4y times 2y squared. What is that? 8y cubed. Very good. 4y times 3y is what, Dylan?
What?
4y times 3y.
Oh, that equals 8y.
Try again. 4y times 3y.
12y.
12y. Pay attention next time, please. Chase, what is 4y times negative 5?
20y.
What kind of 20y? Negative 20y.
Wouldn't it be 12 by 2?
Thank you. It should be 12y squared. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay. So what do we do with this negative?
Should distribute into the parentheses.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this y squared negative, and I'm gonna multiply. What's negative y squared times y, Matthew? Negative y cubed. Presley, what's negative y times negative 3? Yeah, 3y in a second. Now we go through and combine like terms as best we can. Hannah, what's going to be our first set of like terms? So, and-
The AY
yeah, and those become what? And what do those become? Yep. 8 minus 1 is 7. Y to the third. I actually jumped a little bit ahead there, excuse me. What comes second here? Levi?
12y to the second, and then you got 3y to the
Okay.
second.
Then what comes third here? Maddox? Yeah, and 3y. Okay. So what's 12y squared plus 3y squared? Okay, Maddox? 15y squared. Dalton, what comes last then?
Negative 20.
Very good. Okay guys, a lot of times we can get confused at this point. Okay, this is when I start seeing the confusion of combining these rules, okay? So when we multiply the variables is when we add the exponents. When we're adding and subtracting, we do not change variables and exponents. Okay? Question on that? Let's flip the page. Okay?
Oh, guess what?
Well,
Okay.
Well,
Oh, no.
Oh,
Okay.
eliminate
We're actually going to
Skip one.
no. We're gonna skip 5. Let's move on to the solving portion. What do you know about the solving portion? What is there?
There's an equal sign.
There is an equal sign. The equal sign means solve it. That's the difference between solving and simplifying. We can simplify expressions which don't have an equal sign. We can solve equations which do have an equal sign. Okay? So on this first one, for solve, we do it the same way. So what we'll do is we'll simplify the left side, and then we'll simplify the right side, and then we'll see, oh, we have a normal equation after this. On the left side, if we just pretend the right side doesn't exist for a moment, how can we simplify this? Distribute the x. What's x times x? What's x times negative 2?
2x.
What kind?
Negative.
Negative 2x. Plus 7x. Now we put the equal sign, and let's distribute the right side too. What's x times 4? 4x.
Plus x squared.
4x plus x squared. And really that should be written the other word, shouldn't it? It's proper. Okay, and yet we have minus 9x
Plus 14.
plus 14. So now what I want is, let's see, can we simplify the left side of the equal sign anymore?
yeah.
What can we? Yeah, we can simplify the what? On the left side? The negative 2x and 7x, that becomes
5x.
so x squared plus 5x on one side
Yes.
equals, on the right side, what can we simplify?
You get 4x and negative 9.
4x and negative 9x. But what should come first out of these things?
X squared.
Okay, so x squared. And what's 4x plus negative 9x?
Negative 5x.
Negative 5x. And we have this plus 14 still.
That's it.
Okay. Now we say, when we solve these, because we can't simplify anything more on the left side, we can't simplify anything more on the right side. Okay? When we said when we solve equations with x's, what do we like to do with all of our x's?
Get them all
Get
to
them
one
all on one side. So, is there an x on one side that we can move to the other?
Yes.
Which one?
Plus 5x.
Negative 5x.
Okay, we can move this negative 5x. Okay. We can add 5x to both sides. Cool.
X squared plus 10x.
Am I going to add this 5x to the x squared or the 5x?
Huh?
Am I going to add the 5x? Am I going to add the x squared or the 5x?
5x.
5x.
5x, because they're like terms. X squared plus 10x,
Equals.
x squared, negative 5x plus 5x zeroes out, plus 14. Are there still more x's we could move?
Yeah.
The 2?
The x squared, right? How do we move the x squared? Subtract it from both sides.
Yes.
What's x squared minus itself?
0.
10x equals, x squared minus itself is 0, 14. So x squareds ended up just kind of getting rid of themselves, didn't they?
Pretty much.
That's convenient, because otherwise we wouldn't know how to handle those yet. Okay, now what do we do to solve?
Divide by 5.
Divide by 10. X equals 14 over 10. Can this simplify?
Yes.
So what?
1 and 14.
By 2 over to 7 over 5. And I'm okay with just leaving that as a fraction.
Let's get the.
I freaking hate fractions.
Too bad.
I bet they don't like you.
No, I'm not gonna be able to.
I bet they only like clean towels.
It's hard.
So funny.
Well, that was kind of funny.
Okay. Questions on number 1. On number 1, did we do anything mind bending?
Yes.
Yes.
All of it.
Basically every
All of
week
it? Okay, so maybe. Okay. Was the simplifying on the left and the right side, was that Was that the same sort of simplifying we just did on the first two examples?
Yes.
Okay, which is new to us, but it's still simplifying that we've done. And then afterwards, we started moving stuff around. I want you guys to try number 2. Once again, we start out, simplify each side as much as you can, and then once they're all simplified, then we start moving stuff around. Hint, this one works out a lot nicer.
It's not mine, baby.
It's not a fraction.
Yeah, Billy.
That wasn't me.
Where's Serenity?
His southern drawl isn't as good as mine. Good. But you have more? Give me one.
Y'all are weird.
Y'all.
Reverse card. Illegal.
I finished.
I do not care.
Did she ask?
Hey, can you point me in the right direction where I
I
asked?
see.
Mr. Huffle.
Bro, I got 2 equals 0. Is that wrong? I got dose equals dose. Wow.
Oh, it's called simplify. Check me. Simplify what?
A squared minus A
This is the minus.
plus 2
So.
equals A squared plus 9. I don't know how to do that.
Are they like trees?
Oh, stop.
We can always read this one across.
No. I don't know how to do this.
Just keep me in this situation.
Yo, little Jackson. I did that. Is that right? And
I got
you know what you do?
what I know wrong.
Everything. Your life is wrong.
Is it negative?
Do the whole thing.
No, your accent is pretty trash.
How's it wrong?
Ooh.
Well, I did wrong.
Now, we'll go off it.
That's not
I'm
nice.
not egg.
It's 1 egg.
It's probably why I know what I'm doing. Ms. Crossell, can you help me?
I'll be up here. Yes.
That's not helping.
So just trying to come here. A times A is what, Presley? Yep. And then what do I have next, Presley? Okay, and then Presley, what do I have next?
Hey.
Keep going. Yep. 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 Awesome. Presley, I'm gonna keep picking on you.
Good job.
I know, I heard your smile and giggle, okay, I know you know, okay? What do I do next, Presley? Mm-hmm. Okay, how'd you get the minus A? Or the plus A, excuse me? Yeah, very good, okay. And what do I have on the right side? Yeah, what happened to the 2A and the negative 2A? Yeah, they zero out, okay? Guys, shush mode. Then what'd you do, Presley? Okay? And that ends up making both our A to the second zero out. So we have A plus 2 equals 9. Now this turns into a one-step equation. Presley, what'd you do? Gucci. And you got? Very good. A equals 7. Okay.
Yeah.
Question on that? Young Jobin lady. Okay. Now we're gonna learn this thing. What we do for polynomials when we multiply two polynomials, because so far, all that we've done is we multiply a polynomial by a monomial. We multiply a polynomial many terms by one term, a monomial. Now we're going to learn how to multiply a polynomial times another polynomial. So for polynomials, we'll use the distributive property more than once. So we're using the distributive property.
Oh.
You
just did a meme.
but we use it more than once. What meme is that?
No, like I dropped my.
Like me.
Oh.
Me.
I'm referring to myself.
Oh.
Wanna know why?
No.
I'm clumsy and I.
Oh, a me.
I like spilled something all over.
Yeah, earlier.
Yeah.
So what we do, guys, is here we have a binomial and a binomial. And what does it mean when two parentheses are right next to each other like that?
Multiplication.
Multiplication. We don't see a plus or minus sign between them like we did on the worksheet for today. This means multiplication. So what we do is I'm going to take x and I'm going to distribute it to everything in the second parenthesis because we're multiplying this whole parenthesis times this whole parenthesis. So I'm going to take that x and multiply it to everything inside the parenthesis. So what's x times x?
2x.
X squared. What's x times negative 4?
4x.
Negative 4x. Okay, so now after I do the first thing in the first parenthesis to everything in the second, I'm now going to do the next thing in the parenthesis. So I'm going to do this 2 times everything in the second. So 2 times x is, and then what are we going to do next, do we think?
Negative 4.
2 times negative 4, which is negative 8. Now, did we multiply everything in the top times everything in the first times everything in the second? Yeah, we multiplied x times x and negative 4. We multiplied 2 times x and negative 4. So we multiplied every combination we could. Now, we look to combine like terms. It's already in order, but what can we combine?
You combine 4x and 2x.
Yeah, the negative 4x and the 2x, so they become what?
They become brothers.
Into x squared minus 2x minus 8. They become brothers. Okay. And this is our answer. Now we have a special name for this, and we call it FOIL. It's an acronym that can help us remember it. So when we multiply a binomial by another binomial, that's what we have up here, binomial, binomial, we can use the acronym FOIL. Acronym just means every letter stands for another word. Okay? FOIL. What it stands for is we do our first. We do the first. You do the first of each parenthesis times each other. So here, the first thing we did was x times x. Well, what comes first in this parenthesis? What comes first in this parenthesis?
X.
So we did the first thing times the first thing on x squared. Then we do the outsides. If we look at this whole thing, this whole problem, what's on the left outside?
2.
What's on the left outside? X. What's on the right outside? Negative 4. So we did x times negative 4. That's what we did second. Then what did we do next? Not the outsides, but the
Inside.
insides. What's on the insides of this whole problem? 2 and x. So we multiplied those together next. And then what do we think? First, outsides, insides,
Last.
last. You do the last thing in each parenthesis. So in the first parenthesis, the last thing is 2. In the second parenthesis, the last thing is negative 4. So you multiply those together. So we can think of this as FOIL. A lot of times, Dylan, head up. Is that you hear your math teacher say, you got to FOIL, you have to FOIL, you have to FOIL, you have to FOIL. That's going to be referred to a lot. It gets referred to a little bit in geometry, not a ton. And it gets referred to all the time in Algebra 2. Like all the time in Algebra 2. Okay? FOIL, FOIL, FOIL. Okay? So if you can remember, FOIL stands for first, outsides, insides, last. Okay? That can help us remember. Like I said, we take everything times the first parenthesis times everything in the second. That's another way I think of it. Okay? We're going to practice this a little bit. Of course we're going to practice. We always practice, right? X minus 4 times the quantity of x plus 9. The quantity of x minus 4 times the quantity of x plus 9. We have a binomial times a binomial.
Yes.
So we're going to use FOIL. Okay? So can somebody tell me the first things we're multiplying here? Okay, go ahead, Levi.
X is X.
X times X, we do the first.
X squared.
That's X squared. That's X squared. Okay, then what are we gonna do? We did the first, now we're gonna do what, Chase?
9, what? 9. So you distribute the X to 9.
X to the 9, the outsides, which is 9X, like he said. Okay, so now, am I done with this first X? Yeah, I multiplied everything in the second. So now I go to my next thing, which is our insides. Negative 4 times X is negative 4X. So I did my insides. Now I do what?
You do negative 4 times 9.
The outside, or the last, excuse me, negative 4 times times 9, which is negative 36. And because everything was already in the right order, when we do binomials, we already have the right order actually, so now we just look for like terms. How can we simplify this even more?
You can combine 9 and 4.
Yeah, they add the 9x and negative 4x, so we have x squared, then what?
Plus 5x.
Plus 5x
Minus 36.
minus 36.
And that's
And that's our answer, okay? Like I said, another way I like to think of this, guys, and this will help us with all of these, not even just a binomial, is you do everything in the first to everything in the second. Then you move on. The next thing in the first to everything in the second until you have done everything through. Okay, I want you guys to try number 2 on your own. You guys try number 2 on your own. Can you have it or have questions? I want you to raise your hand.
Check that. What's 5 times 4? You're good, you're good. So far, so good.
Let's talk about this one up here. So if we FOIL here, a times 2a is 2a squared. A times 4a is 4a. 5 times 2a is 10a. And then 5 times 4 is 20. Then they combine this 4a and 10a and get 2a squared plus 14a plus 20 as our answer.
8 times 8 is 48, right?
Okay? Nope. 6 times 8 is 48. Okay? Let's try number 3. Once you have 3 or have questions, raise your hand. Okay?
Yeah, what the heck and
Oh, my bad.
Oh, grid, what's 64 plus
checked that. Yo, Hannah, idiot, I get it.
Yep.
Alright, oh. I think I got it. I ain't one. Look at this. Yeah, got it wrong. Let's retry. Woo! Nah, I'm good. I got this.
9 times 4 is 32.
What?
9 times 4 is 6.
Let's go ahead and talk about this one. Y times y is y squared. Y times negative 8 is negative 8y.
Oh,
8 times y is positive 8y. And 8 times negative 8 is negative 64. What do we notice about our middle terms, our like terms here? Negative 8y and 8y.
They're negative and they're not the same side.
They end up zeroing out, don't they? So you get y squared minus 64 is our answer.
Ah, who's up?
Okay.
We don't
Let's
talk
go ahead and go
about
on to number 4. When you have it or have questions, raise your hand.
I got a condo in Manhattan. It'd be dire, but it's cold.
Paper and Mars.
Oh, who's that? Oh, yeah,
That's
wait.
from Mouse Shooting.
Yeah. You didn't know who sang that song? What are you, an uncultured swine? Eugene, you uncultured swine.
When I do 4 times 2,
Carl, how'd you know that song? Where'd that come out?
I can do that.
Girl, a condo in USA. Like a girl who's had, did that come back out back in the days? Yeah, back in the good old days. Oh, yeah. I got a condo in Alabama.
You did that already.
It's good as happening.
So I don't get this.
Yeah. Yeah. Got a truck up in his head. Frost down the road.
If you guys already done number 4, feel free to try number 5.
Can you check?
No, it's supposed to add.
Turn on the music.
That was
After we
Backyard again. Anybody remember that show?
Yes.
Yeah.
I used to freaking watch that show all the time.
Okay. Once you're done with 4, I want you guys to try number 5. I want you guys to try number 5.
Wait, I'm not even done with number 4.
Stressing me out. Negative 4, not 2. No, I'm not. I'm not doing it. 8. This is like first one. I don't like this. We ain't like this one. Wait, can't go? Can't do it? When did you realize? If without dudes, my truck. That's all. Yesterday, HPA, Mom went to work. What's that actually?
So then would it be right?
Okay. Got that too. I was like, I looked at her.
So I saw everybody that I looked around. So far I had this number 4 right. 5x times 12x was, or 2x to me was 10x squared. 5x times negative 9 was negative 45x. Dylan, stop. Negative 4 times 2x is negative 8x. And negative 4 times negative 9 is plus 36. Find like terms. 10x squared minus 53x plus 36.
But it. Negative 45x.
Yep.
minus 8x.
Yep.
You same size dad. Same
Same
size
size
dad.
different size of track, same size,
keep the size, keep the larger. Seventh grade.
Whoa!
On number 5, this one's a little weird. Presley, what did you do? Yep.
Excuse me.
How'd you get 8y to the second? What'd you take? Yep. And then? How'd you get that? So Presley took the first thing in the first parenthesis times everything in the second parenthesis. So even though we had 3 things in the second parenthesis, she still did the first times everything in the second. Presley, what did you do next? Okay, so 5 times 3y squared, you get 15y squared. Okay, so 5 times 4y plus 25. Okay, so then she took the second thing in the first parenthesis times everything in the second. So she took everything in the first times everything in the second. Start with the first thing, take it to absolutely everything in the next parenthesis. Start with the next thing, take it to everything in this parenthesis. Then she combined like terms, right? So we see 6y cubed comes first all alone. Then we see our 8y squared and our 15y squared would come next. Then our 10y and our 20y. And then our 25. So 6y cubed comes first. What's 8y squared plus 15y squared? 23y squared. What is 10y plus 20y?
31.
Plus 30y. And then that 25 just comes trailing on its own. Questions on that one? That was a little bit different, right? Isn't it?
Presley, not Presley.
Okay. Chase.
Can we simplify that out?
Okay, what do you think you get them
Well,
on?
not simplify, but like, are we gonna solve these?
From here we won't solve it. We'll have some next chapter that we do a little bit more with. But right now, this is as far as we're gonna go. This is as much as you can simplify it in this direction. Okay. Good questions. Okay. Hey, on number 6, does anybody want to hypothesize what we might do?
No.
Okay, Matthew.
Distribute the first 3 in the first parentheses, the 3 in the second parentheses.
Okay, so slow it down a little bit with that. So what would I do first?
X squared
Times.
3x squared.
So we do that. Then what would you do? Get 3x to the 4th
Yeah.
Times 2x squared.
times 2x. Yep, and get 2x to the 3rd. What would I do next?
X squared times
Okay, so we took the first thing times everything in the second. You get 5x squared. Okay. Then Matthew, what would you do next?
x times 3x squared.
And then he moves the second term in the first parenthesis, and you're going to do the same exact thing. Yeah, he's going to take the second term times everything in the second parenthesis. So 3x to the 3rd. Then he's going to take x times 2x and get 2x squared. Then he's going to take, and then he's going to run out of room. So x times 5 is going to be 5x, so I'm going to keep writing on this line because I ran out of room. Now what do I do after I take x squared times everything and x times everything? I take 5 times everything. I take everything in the first times everything in the second. And notice how I'm keeping it organized, aren't I?
Yes.
I'm just going in order, that way I don't miss something. Okay? So I do 5 times 3x squared and get 15x squared. 5 times 2x, I get 10x. And 5 times 5, I get 25. Ooh, is this a lot?
Yes.
Yeah, kind of.
Crocodile.
Okay? So, what we can do here is now we can look to combine like terms still.
Your curse is off.
Hello. Not by much.
How dare you?
Alright. So, what comes first in all of this mess?
3x to the 4th.
3x 4th. Is there anything with that? Nope. Okay. What will come next then?
3x. No, 2x to the
2x to the third. Are there any other x to the thirds? Yeah, that's 3x to the third, right? Are there any other x to the thirds? What comes next?
2x, 5x to the second.
Our x to the seconds, right? Do we have another one of those? 2x.
To the second.
Okay, we have 3 of those. They all come third. Okay, what comes fourth? 5x and 10x. Is it kind of easier to see what's left once you start underlining things too? Yeah, and then last comes is 25. Okay, so now we say, okay, first underline, 3x to the fourth. Second underline, we have a couple of them. 12x to the third plus 3x to the third. What is that? Or 2x to the third, you mean, plus 3x to the third. What is that?
5x to the third.
5x to the third. 3 underlines, we have 3 of them. 5x squared plus 2x squared plus 15x squared. What's 5 plus 2? 7. And 7 plus 15? 22. Taylor Swift would be proud. 22x squared. We're on our 1, 2, 3, 4th term, so 4 underlines. 5x and 10x, what's that become? 15x. 5th term, 5 underlines, just that plus 25.
Unless you're like 30 now.
Taylor Swift?
She's 27, right?
Probably is 27. Sounds about right. Okay. Any question on this one? Okay, so did we kind of just have foiling on steroids a bit there? Not that bad. Okay.
That was no bueno.
Have you steroids to a piece of paper? One turn back into the grade.
What did you say?
You put it into a tree.
It's on, and I was here to sell them south hours.
This is all these.
Not sure many people do.
Semester 1, all this now. And all this.
Not me, I had him yesterday morning.
You don't.
I always fall asleep every morning.
You
And I just got her.
Okay. So hey, on this worksheet here, there's the front, no back, just kind of like no cap. Okay. On the top, those would be kind of like problems we did at the very start of the lesson, or problems like we did actually back in like 6.1. And then you have problems like on 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't like those first part of the notes today. 7 through 11 are kind of like the first part of the notes today, and then 12 through 20 are like our last part of the notes. Okay? Question on that?
What comes do we not do?
Oh, none of you do all. I mean,
I do.
Don't do it. Hey, Sealy, getting fruit.
For 13,
And
you
there you
distribute
have
by
it, folks. That's in Alabama.
A to A,
Yeah.
and then 2 to A, and then 2A to A.
let me talk about that real quick.
Just
99.
9, 9.
She ain't been